What made people so fat? I read somewhere that there were way fewer obese people in sedentary office jobs 50–80 years ago than they are nowadays. I could not imagine that diets changed so drastically that people have such a high caloric intake nowadays. Speaking from a European perspective, I also feel like sports are more popular than ever before, especially weightlifting, bodybuilding and combat sports, which surely take a lot of energy and also shape the body. I don't want to completely deny the role of individual lifestyle choices. However, one of the major factors was a successful campaign by the sugar industry in the 70s and 80s to put all the blame on the fat content of foods. Because so much sugar corn syrup is dumped into our food. This is especially true for Americans but also is for Europeans to some extent. That is the answer. It is simply much harder and more expensive to eat healthy today than it was 50 years ago. Our food is less nutritious and more fattening than it used to be. John Harvey Kellogg. Fuck that guy. I could not imagine that diets changed so drastically. That's exactly what happened. Mostly it's sugar, which is almost everywhere in today's food. Today we have sedentary lifestyle and a junk food culture. Sugar does it more than anything else. Overeating as a hobby. I'm full but it's time to eat. Lunch breaks at calorie-heavy fast food chains, restaurants. You can go on and on. Parents also pass it on to their kids by sharing their overeating habits with large deserts. Once it's on, it tends to stay there. Everything is packed full of truckloads of salt. That's a bad one. When you want a snack, it's salty corn chips. Right? Everything we eat is processed and full of sugar, and we're on screens everywhere we go. Diet and activity. But mostly diet. The price per calorie is a tiny fraction of what it used to be. It used to be expensive to be fat. Delicious ass food, drooling face. High fructose corn syrup. Scientists lying about sugar and fat for not enough money. Shitty food is cheap. And more. I'm just not thinking of them ATM. But think that for like 40–50 years. Easy access to high-calorie crappy food. High fructose corn syrup. More time watching TV and doing nothing physical. It's more expensive to buy fresh vegetables than a frozen pizza. In short, big sugar and the faulty food pyramid. Office workers stopped chain smoking at their desks. A combination of things: car dependency. People feeling unsafe on the sidewalk. Sugar and trans fats in packaged foods. Huge portions at restaurants. It really is almost entirely diet for so many reasons. Tons and tons of bad reasons. But also some good ones, as there are less food shortages and people are often getting more nutrition than they used to. But in less than ideal ways still. I firmly believe that it is high fructose corn syrup. People used to smoke cigarettes, had access to great drugs, and drank alcohol at lunch. Who gives a shit about food when you're comfortable without too much? Take away all that, and you get all these fatties. Food is garbage. Sugar is everywhere and consuming it in mass is normalized. TV and video games are so much a normal part of our culture. Sugar oil combined together. Corporate multinationals market billions of tons of poisonous garbage, calling it snacks and treats. And food, and since millions of us will put things in our mouth that a Burmese bat-eater would balk at. Many of us now look like Jabba the Hutt. Corn syrup. It's in fucking everything. It's corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup. Stress. In my opinion, a major factor was the study published warning of the dangers of fat. It was paid for by the sugar corn syrup industry conglomerate or whatever. Fat-free foods that swapped fat for sugar showed up everywhere. Corn syrup found its way into everything. Diabetes and obesity levels skyrocketed in the US. Sorry. I wish I could give a better breakdown, but it's late and been a shit day. Some antidepressants make some people insulin resistant, which is why some people gain weight. I have no idea what percentage of the population is on antidepressants, but it is a lot. Driving. North America is so car-centric that no one walks anywhere. Thusly we've gained weight. I got depressed and started binge eating to comfort myself. It got really bad. The introduction of high fructose corn syrup. It's restricted in many countries, but it's incredibly difficult to find foods in America without HFCS. Unresolved trauma. High fructose corn syrup. Genetics. The war on drugs made cocaine, speed, other weight loss drugs illegal, which kept weight off. Fat people have existed forever. And honestly, it's none of your business. So many people are fat-phobic when you could literally just not engage in eugenics. So many fat people are disabled by diseases that could have been caught, but doctors are too stupid to actually diagnose them. They can't stop thinking about a dumbass scale. They don't believe fat people actually work out or eat well because they aren't skinny. People used to smoke in offices. Smoking curbs appetite. BBC did a documentary about ultra-processed foods that shows the impact they have. Basically, foods become more and more manufactured with teams of people being tasked to make it more addicting, not more satiating and healthy. Overall, people are getting fatter because it's more profitable than them getting healthier. Doesn't help that nowadays healthy choices are a lot more expensive than McDonald's and people are broke. A huge part is the misrepresentation of eating fat being what makes people fat, when it was actually sugar. This was due to marketing done by sugar companies to make more money, where they paid off scientists to lie and made fat-free things appear healthy. Another thing is that American food nowadays has more sugar in it on average than other countries. High fructose corn syrup. Food mixed with lack of exercise. Calorie-dense foods with minimal actual nutrition mixed with sedentary lifestyles. Sugar ignorance. Overly processed food is hard to avoid and the healthy food is expensive. Plus, no one has time to cook since so many people work 2 jobs. Even corn tortilla chips are bad, it is basically pre-digested food. Sugar. X200B. Try and find something in your pantry that doesn't have added sugar. Go on. I'll wait. Before hyper-processed foods, sugar intake was maybe only a few grams per day. A single can of Coke has 35 grams of sugar. An entire week. In one can. Diet doesn't mean what you think means either. Sucrose is sucrose whether you call it corn syrup of Splendid. It's not what we do. It's what we eat. Processed foods and sugar are certainly high on the list. Added stress in life. This can cause bad habits and make the body hold on to extra fat. Man shrugging.